So, good evening. Today's session we're doing is the human physiology session, and we've done learning outcome 1 and 2, and we're looking at the assignment discussion today. So, can you see the assignment discussion that I've put up?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of an overview of what we went through in learning outcome 1 and 2. So, in learning outcome one, we looked at understanding that the human body comprises of different organs. And in that learning outcome, we looked at levels of organization. So, we looked at the organ system. We looked at the different types of tissues and cells and molecules and atoms. We also looked at the nervous system and the digestive system. We looked at the cardiovascular system and also looked at the respiratory system and how it works and the excretory system. We also looked at what different atoms mean, what molecules mean, what organelle means, what cells we have and tissues and the organ system. So we went through elements of the different types of 4 types of tissues and things like that. So that was learning outcome 1. It's just a quick brief overview of what we've been through. Then learning outcome 2, we looked at understanding um, that homeostasis is the key process which maintains the internal environment of the body. In regards to that, the indicative content, we looked at what homeostasis is, what positive and negative feedback mechanism for homeostasis is. So examples of control like blood glucose levels. We looked at the endocrine system and the hormonal control and the location of the key glands and the insulin and glucagon in control of the blood level. We also looked at the element of how the process works in regards to your pancreas, your liver, the kidneys, and the brain. We then went on to look at the regulation of temperature in humans' body in regards to homeostasis, so negative feedback mechanisms. We also looked at positive feedback mechanisms as well in learning outcome 2. We looked at the concept of homeostasis and also looked at the endocrine system and how it's well suited to maintaining any sort of homeostasis. We then went on to look at elements of the concept of homeostasis, so things like, your blood glucose levels, your blood pressure, and your pH levels. So that was quickly what we looked at learning outcome 1 and 2. Do you have any questions on that?
No, please.
Okay, so now we're going to look at this is just a quick thing. You can look at the assignment. Can you see the assignment on there? The assignment brief.
I only see the assignment details where you
Let
have
me just
the
share it now again. Let's see what if we can share it again. Share assignment brief. Can you see it now? It says
it's not it's
Ascentis
now
awarding.
w- with the student name.
Yeah, student name. This is how the assignment looks. Okay, so this is on Moodle for you to have a look at. This is how the assignment looks. But a lot of the information I've taken out anyway. Um, and we could look at that separately. But this is how the assignment looks in regards to identifying the different aspects of human physiology. So it looks at your signature, it looks at completed by the tutor, it also looks at the assignment brief, what is expected of you when it comes to doing the assignment. Also, and it looks at examples of that. And this I've done in the assignment PowerPoint slides anyway. I'm just going through this quickly so you know what it looks like and what is expected of you when you're doing this assignment. Okay, so this is how it looks on Moodle and this is available to you on Moodle. Okay, let me just go back and share the guidelines for the assignment, which uh, let's have a look. So if you go into there, you've got assignment do's and don'ts. No, that's not assignment do's and don'ts. Let me just see if I can find it. uh, okay, so just 1 minute. Sorry about that, Faustina. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
So we've got the can you see this guidelines and do's and don'ts? It says there.
It's not yet displayed.
I think my internet's a little bit slow. I've had
Mm.
problems with my internet over the weekend again, and
Uh,
yeah.
maybe it's same
Can you see
everywhere.
it now?
Yes, I'm seeing guidelines of do's and
Yeah,
don'ts.
yeah. The internet is really bad in my area because I don't know why, to be honest. So we've got assignment submission, guidelines, do's and don'ts. So the little bit on the guidelines here. Okay, so this is how you would submit your assignment, but I think you've submitted assignments before, so you do know how to submit assignments. You'd have a declaration of originality. You need to write your name and your date of the cover sheet, write the tasks out. Do not change the wording of the tasks, okay? Because some people tend to change the wording. Don't change the wording. Best practice, insert page numbers. They also say write an introduction of 30 to 50 words. Why is it important to write an introduction, Faustina?
To give an overview of
Yeah,
whatever you're
overview of
doing.
what you're doing in the assignment. Yes, and writing the assignment. Don't write it in first person, which is I feel or I like or we like. Write in third person. And malpractice, which we're going to go through. I'll show you the malpractice policy and why it's important that you move away from doing anything on AI because it needs to be less than 20% plagiarized. And plagiarism comes up as well. Submission of the assignment on learner work, which you need to do a declaration of originality. And what is a declaration of originality for?
To avoid plagiarism.
Sorry?
To avoid plagiarism.
Yeah. And it shows that the work that you've done is your own work,
It's
okay?
your own
And
work.
then, yes, and this can be downloaded from Moodle, which I'm going to go through the assignment discussion. Assignment on the first page, write your name, your unit name, insert page numbers, date of submission, write the tasks out if you want. You could do that, but don't change the wording of the tasks. Do's and don'ts, best practice, always write an introduction. Uh, and this tells the assessor what you are doing the assignment for, and it's a brief outline of everything, okay? So it's easier to understand. Also, try to write the assignment in third person. Avoid using bullet points. It's an academic piece of work, so it needs to flow, okay? Avoid writing over the word count as well. Malpractice, which I'm going to go through as a college, it's UK Varsity scans its work under AI and Turnitin, and this is an off-call and awarding body guideline, that the similarities need to be below 20%, and the AI needs to be below 20%, but you need to avoid using AI because it's a form of plagiarism. A lot of people tend not to think about it, and I'll give you an example. I had a student just recently where I work, and they did the assignment and it was 75% plagiarized. um so they will get done for malpractice. So it's really, excuse me, it's really important. It's your, it's your own work, okay? Because people tend to use AI and they don't think that it come up, but it does come up straight away as plagiarized. Okay, so the malpractice and maladministration policy and procedure, can you see that?
Yeah.
That is available for you on Moodle or on the UK Varsity website. And here it's the purpose of this is to make sure that you don't, the awarding bodies have gone through the issue of malpractice and, to identify if there's any issues in regards to, where you've taken work or you've not referenced it properly. Malpractice is where you deliberately take someone else's work and put it as your own. And then you've got maladministration, which is neglect or improper use of someone else's work. So proof, if you read something, what should you do to make sure that it's not plagiarized?
Maybe you reframe it.
Yeah. Should you put it in your own words, paraphrase it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's important to put it in your own words. This policy will identify the procedure, that identifies failures to follow the procedure. Also, record keeping, why it's so important that you need to keep records of everything. Inadequate communication, mismanagement. So it's not just for you; it's for UK varsity as well. And if you're caught cheating or plagiarizing, plagiarizing is directly copying someone's work, so you're reproducing it. Or the other thing in regards to plagiarism is purchasing someone else's work as well, making, you're buying it off, a service, because there's lots of online services that sell their work, they will do it for you and they will charge you for it. Paraphrasing without acknowledgement, inappropriate use of AI, which we've gone through. AI is a tool now that everyone is using. Everyone uses AI because they think it'll do everything for them. Okay. I use AI to get recipes. That's all I use it for. I don't use AI for anything else because I think if you start using AI, you get used to it. So
Mm.
avoid using anything of AI, and failure to if there's any sort of malpractice found, you would have to follow procedure. And this is guidelines for learners where they misuse AI, and their responsibility, and staff reports responsibility, our responsibility. And there is an investigation procedure that goes through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and how the appeals process would go. So this is a big policy that you need to read, because when you do your declaration, you will sign this. Okay. So I've quickly gone through this with you. This is on Moodle for you. So you need to make sure you're reading it and looking at it properly in regards to it. So the next one we're looking at is the assignment discussion. And this is the aspects of physiology, and the assignment declaration, as we said, it is there to identify that the work is your own. So you are signing this, you are confirming that this is your own work. You've read and understand the college's guidance on plagiarism, and you've read the policy which I've shown you. Okay, so you have to maybe have a read of that. If you've read it previously, you know how things work. So you need to make sure you are, when you sign this, you have clearly referenced your work. You have fully referenced your work using Harvard's system of referencing. You've provided the sources for all the tables, figures, data, and that you've not made use of the work of any other students, past or present, without acknowledgement. So, this includes your own work, submitted, concurrently. Can you self plagiarize?
Mm.
You can't you? How, Faustina? How can you self plagiarize? You're right. But how can you self
Maybe
plagiarize?
that's when you repeat your own work.
So maybe you've submitted your assignment previously, Faustina,
Yeah.
and then you decide to take something out of that assignment and submit it again. Is that self plagiarism?
Okay.
Yes. Because I had a student, she was on year 3 of the degree, and what she did, Faustina, and it was an innocent thing. It wasn't, she didn't plagiarize, nothing like that. What she did was she took something out of her assignment she submitted in year 2 of her degree. When she got to year 3, it came up as plagiarized
Wow.
because she'd already submitted it. So when she went to the plagiarism appeal, she had to identify that it was her own work, but that what she'd done is made a mistake by taking it out. So you need to make sure you are not using your own work, and the work you have submitted is not plagiarized, and you've not used any of the services and things like that. It's
Okay.
really important when you sign this declaration, because that declaration at the bottom says, I am aware and understand the college's policy on plagiarism, and I certify this assignment is my own work. except where indicated by referencing, and I followed the good academic practices noted above. So it's really, really important you reference your work. Your work is the main thing that it needs to be referenced. And it's because what are you doing? If you're not referencing your work, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Are you
plagiarism.
what are you doing? Sorry.
Plagiarism.
Yeah, plagiarizing. Are you using someone else's work as your own then?
It's same. Where you have self and then somebody's.
Yeah. So the work you are plagiarizing is not your work, is it? It's someone else's work. So you are using that instead of paraphrasing it. So you need to make sure you've read the policy, make sure you've understood the policy, and make sure you don't use AI to do the assignment. Okay.
Okay.
So what information needs to go on the assignment? Your name, your registration number, your tutor's name, and your word count. Obviously, your word count is 3,500 words for this assignment, your date of submission, and your unit level. Okay. Why do you think this information is so important that goes on your assignment?
It's to
Why do
know
you think having all this information is so important on your assignment?
to inform the marker who is
Yes.
sending the
Yeah.
assignment and
Yeah.
how to award it
Yes.
and
And that you've stuck
everything.
to, yeah, you know the
Give
level, you know what
a
unit you're
preview
doing.
of the assignment.
Yeah, yes. So it's really important you know that the marker knows that it's your work and that you are marking it and what sorry they're marking it and what level you're at and what unit you're doing because you will be doing so many other units. So the marker needs to be known that it's clear that you know what you're doing. General information, and this is just generally that everything that is taught for any of the units on UK Varsity, the virtual learning environment that we use is Moodle. Okay, and that's where all your resources are available for you. Your learning outcome one, two, all recorded and available for you in regards to this unit and for any other unit. And also the this today's session will also be recorded for you. Okay. You
Okay.
will also be asked to register on Pearson, as it is the platform and the awarding body that is used. Um, and you will also, use virtual your Moodle for any sort of resources. Okay. Do you have access to Moodle? Yeah.
Yeah, they sent it to me,
Okay.
but I tried looking for since yesterday. I can't find it on my phone, so I'll call them on Monday.
Yes. Call them up because if there's any issues with Moodle, you can refer them to that. Okay.
Okay.
Again, plagiarism and collusion. Another slide, really important. Students must complete and submit their own work. Plagiarism is presenting the thoughts and ideas and words of another person as if they were your own. Collusion may occur where students' assignments are very similar and in some cases identical to another fellow student.
Okay.
So do not use any other fellow student's work. Do not use any other assignments. Make sure you submit your assignment. And because plagiarism is taken very, very seriously when it comes to identifying if students have cheated or copied anyone else's assignments. And also it's available on Moodle for you, which is the VLE, the main awarding body, the more say virtual learning environment. Sorry. Again, at the start of your assignment, you need to put in your um, your name, your table. Why is the table of contents so important?
It also tells that give assignment details
Yeah,
to or the summary of your assignment from start to finish to the marker.
yeah. Will you need to? Will it be easy for you?
Yeah, I will try. I'll give it a try. Chelsea, are you there?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Oh, sorry, I just went on mute. I don't know why. Just 1 minute. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what's happening, Faustine. Just 1 minute. So table of contents, your font size needs to be 12. It needs to be 1.5 line spacing, and your page numbers need to be inserted as well. So it's really important that you don't do your work on Google as well. You have to use Office. And the link is there. If you don't have Office, that's a free link to Office. Okay, and you need to do your work on there, not on Google. Okay, you need an
Okay.
introduction, like we said, and it's up to 3,500 words. Okay, you have 10% flexibility if you want to go over in your assignment. Okay, if the word is there, if you want to go over, you can go over, but you have templates. Don't go too much over, okay? And make sure you are putting the assessment criteria in the headings. Don't change the wording of the assignment. That is so important that you don't change the wording, because what the assignment is asking you, you need to stick to that. And we'll go through that a little bit, okay? So
Okay.
assignment guidance. So this is available for you on the assignment brief, the one I showed you earlier on, which is available on Moodle for you, okay? And
Okay.
this is all available for you to have a look at. And also, I've just taken stuff off the assignment brief, and I've also taken stuff off the assignment brief and just put it on here so that when we go through the assignment, it's easy for you to understand. So, firstly, you've got to consider the activities. You've got to consider the activities undertaken in a typical day, such as eating, drinking, physical work, and exercise. And you need to describe the structure and the function of the relevant organ systems, which allow the body to carry out these activities in a controlled and coordinated way. So that's your assignment brief. Examples include things like the effect of activity on heart rate and digestion, which is the cardiovascular system and the digestive system. Also, another example is the effect of indigestion of a meal on blood glucose level, which is the endocrine system. You could also another example is the role of the excretory system in excretion and omostor regulation. The next one is the role of the nervous system in relation to activities and other systems. So these are examples that you would look at.
Okay, that means just an example. You choose only one.
Yes, you can choose. These are examples that you could use when it comes to doing your assignment. Okay, so we'll go through now. This is what you should include in your report. Okay, so there's 6 things that you need to include. Okay, so firstly, you need to include a labeled diagram of each of the key organs and briefly describe the levels of organization within an organism. Where would you look for that?
For the level of organization.
Yes, but what organs would key organ systems?
Organ system, maybe the endocrine system, the digestive
Yes,
system,
but what
circulatory
would you look
system,
at? What would you look at in regards to that? Which learning
eating,
outcome?
eating, drinking, exercise.
Yes, but it says, what does it say? It says make a
It says
picture, doesn't it?
use diagram.
A diagram. So you could look at could you look at the cardiovascular system?
Um, hmm.
You would need to look at learning outcome to do this. Learning outcome 1. Okay? When you're doing
So,
this one, you need to look at learning outcome 1.
okay,
And you need to look at learning outcome 1, and you'd look at the different organs. So you would look at um, 1.1, which is page 19, yeah, on learning outcome 1. And then you would look at 1.2, which is page 26. Okay?
okay.
Do you understand? Yeah. So it's given you AC 1.1 and AC 1.2, and they are learning outcome 1. So you look at the organ systems and the major organ systems. So you could look at the organism. You'd look at any organ systems within that,
Okay.
and you'd use diagrams. Okay, and on 1.1 and 1.2, the diagrams
One
are
more
there.
a question, please. If
Yes.
I should use a diagram, how can the diagram amount to 3,500?
No, not the diagram. That is just one part of it. Look, that is just one part.
Okay.
You've got 6 parts to do in this assignment. No, this is just one part. Can you see that?
Okay.
If I do it like this, it might make it easier if I put numbers
Okay,
on
I've
for you.
seen it.
Can
Yeah,
you
I've
see
seen
that
it.
now? I've
Yeah.
put numbers on. That make it easier, yeah? So this
Okay.
bit is looking at learning outcome 1. You're looking at AC 1.1 and 1.2, pages 19 and pages 26. Okay, and you're looking at making diagrams of each of the organ systems, and you're describing the levels of the organization within organism. Okay, so that is
Okay.
number 1. Okay, so you need to put that as a heading, Faustina, and you need to write the answer in there. So you need to do diagrams, and also you need to describe the levels of organization within an organism. Do you understand?
Okay. So the
So that's,
diagram, should it be my own drawing or
yes, you can look at the drawings on the slides and look at doing them from there. But you need to you need to have a diagram, and it has to be labeled. And on the you don't have to do it yourself. You may be able to
okay.
have a look and just branch it out, put a diagram and then put the different
So I
ones.
can copy from Google.
Yeah, I think you should reference them, but I think you should
Okay.
have the diagrams and then label the different parts yourself. Okay?
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
the second part is looking at an explanation of how each of the key organ systems contribute to the overall functioning of the body, in which activities listed above. So here you would look at learning outcome 1, and you would look at 1.2, 1.3, you would look at 1.4 as well. So you would be looking at page 26 onwards. You would look at also page 31, and you would look at page also examples of that on page 34. Explain how the organ systems maintain the normal function. So it's literally on them slides, it tells you where you can get the answers from. Okay, so you
Okay.
look at AC 1.1, 1.2 for number 1, AC 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 for number 2. Is that okay?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, do you understand
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Excellent. So the next one is number 3. Okay. For number 3, you need to look at which learning outcome do you need to look at?
Mm. Outcome 2.1 and 2.2.
Excellent, excellent. So here you would look at an explanation of the homeostasis control and mechanism and their importance in the body, both as a general concept and relation to activities. So here you will look at 2.1 and 2.2. Okay. And that's learning outcome 2.
Okay.
Okay, so you would look at what homeostasis is, the mechanism, how important it is within that. So you would look at learning outcome 2, and you would look at elements of what homeostasis is, how it affects it. So you would look at 2.1, which is page 13 on learning outcome 2, and then page 13 on learning outcome 2, and page 15 on learning outcome 2. So you would look at elements of that in regards to an explanation of the homeostasis and control elements. Okay, so that's the third
Okay.
part. The fourth bit is looking at learning outcome 2, again, page 15, an explanation of the role of the endocrine system, okay, in homeostasis. So you've got to look at the endocrine system and how that works with homeostasis, okay, the role of the endocrine system. And that's learning outcome 2, and it's 2.2 that you're looking at in learning outcome 2, which actually looks at how the endocrine system works with homeostasis. So it's how the glands and the hormones work together to maintain a physiological process within the body with homeostasis, okay?
Okay.
So that's learning outcome 2, okay? So for the next one, number 4, a comparison and contrast of the endocrine system and the nervous system in relation to the report. So what would you do there? What would you look at? You'd look at learning outcome 1, AC 1.3, 1.4, and 2.2. What would you be doing when you're looking at a comparison and contrasting? What does that mean? Oh, there's no
Mm,
six. What does that mean?
with the comparison, that is the differences.
Yes. So what would you be looking at? Difference in what?
The differences between endocrine system and the nervous system
Yes. You
in
would be looking
relation
at
to
that. Yes. You would be
the,
looking at that, and you would be
what
looking at,
report?
sorry, yes.
It
And you
says
need
in
to,
relation to your report.
so your report's at the top, isn't it, what you're doing?
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So here you would be looking at learning outcome 1 and learning outcome 2, 1.3, 1.4, and 2.2. Okay. There's only 5 parts. Okay, the last bit of it is that what they're saying, that you need to use an appropriate sources of information, you need to cite them accurately and include a list in the Harvard referencing. Okay, so there's
Okay.
only 5 parts to it, and you've got up to 3,500 words each. How much would you do on each one then?
Is it if you want the extension,
Yeah.
the 3,500, is it for the extension or just pass?
No, there's no extension activity, it's all for this.
Ah, okay.
So how many words would you do on each part
Since,
of that report then?
since it is
About
3,005.
750 words each.
Pardon?
About 750 words each on each part.
Okay.
Because it
Okay.
amounts to that, if you do 750 words each, it amounts to 3,750. So for some of them, you could do
Including the drawings.
yes, but for some of them, you could do 700 words, to amount to that. But each one, you need to put that as a heading, write the answer under it. Put that as a heading, write the answer under it. Put that as a heading, write the answer under it, and so on for each one. Okay? Use them as headings and then write your answer under it. Do not use bullet points. Do not make sure you don't change the wording. Okay? Make sure you write what they are asking you. Okay, and make sure you reference all your diagrams, all your sources that you use, and also have a reference in the end as well. Okay, any questions
Okay.
on any of them?
Hmm. Um,
you
my
could
my
email you could email learnerwork at ukvarsity.co.uk if you struggle with anything, and just email, asking anything. But literally they are telling you what learning outcome it is and what it is, where you could find it, which AC.
okay.
Okay. So the
All right.
next part of it, you need to reference all your academic sources and use Harvard system of referencing to reference all your sources. Okay. Summary, make
Okay.
sure you start with an introduction, conclusion.
And
Again,
the
Harvard reference.
3,005
Number 5.
is introduction part of the 3,005.
Yes. Your introduction can only be a couple of maybe 3, 4, 5 lines for Stina, not too much.
Okay.
Yeah. So make sure you do an introduction. Make sure you use Harvard referencing, and the Harvard referencing that we've got is the one on Neil's toolbox, which I've put a link there for you as well. Um,
Okay.
Again, if you're using diagrams, make sure you reference them, because that's so
Mm.
important that you reference them all as well.
Okay.
Okay, and Make sure you have a bibliography and it's in alphabetical order. Make sure you use examples if you can, and also refer to the assessment criteria. And also another thing is your grammar. Make sure your grammar is not, American, style. People sometimes use words that are American spellings. You need to use the English command verbs, okay?
Okay.
Give proper headings and subheadings. Make your document look presentable and professional. Um, and number your figures. Make sure you list all the figures, whatever. Ensure that you have at
Which
least,
figure are you talking of? Is it a drawing?
yes, the diagrams. Yes, the diagrams. They say figures or diagrams, whichever one is. You need to make sure you are referencing them. Okay.
Okay.
Also, your word limit is 3,500. What One other thing is, make sure that you are checking you're not using AI to answer things, because AI would it'll come up. You've got 20%. You could use up to 20% of AI, but no more. And that's the threshold is below 20%. So you need to make sure that you are being careful when it comes to AI. Also
Okay.
remember, there's a grading, there's a pass or a fail for this unit and AI, and make sure that your work is presentable. Make sure that the work you submit is presentable and academically sufficient for the marker to mark, and don't use bullet points as well. Okay,
Okay.
some useful tips here. Read the task carefully. Read what it's asking you, refer to the learning outcomes and the assessment criteria, and make sure you focus on the command verbs as well. Again, Harvard referencing, make sure it looks presentable. Word limit, again, 10% flexibility, and plagiarism needs to be below 20% for AI. You need to make sure you are not copying and pasting your work, as it's plagiarism and would lead to academic misconduct. Make sure you reference all your sources. So any work that you get together, make sure you reference it, okay? Make sure you check your grammar and make sure you check your spelling, okay? That is really, really important, because when it comes to your grammar and spelling, you need to make sure it's all being checked, because it needs to, it needs to be, you know, the work needs to be presentable, and the work needs to make sure that the work that you submit is in line with the standards as well. Okay. um,
Okay.
Make sure you refer to any, if you need any sort of additional reading or anything, you've got ebooks on and journals on Moodle that you can refer to. There are additional reading on there for you to refer to. And if you're using any sort of UK varsity slides, which are the learning outcome 1 and 2, then reference will be as below. So in the main text, you'd put MDT 2022, and then in the bibliography, you would put multidisciplinary teams, learning outcome 1, number slide 2 to 10, UK varsity, published on 15th of January 2022. Okay, 2023. Okay, so you need to make sure you are referencing properly. If you are using this the UK varsity slides, make sure you reference them properly. Okay.
Okay.
Submission of your assignment is on learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. And your assignment submission is after 2 weeks of today's session. So you have 2 weeks to submit it. If you need extra time, you can email learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk, and you can ask for extra time if you've got extenuating circumstances, or if you're struggling to do it. But make sure your work is presentable and you read the tasks. It's so important you read the tasks, and you stick to the word count and don't go too much over the word count. Okay. Have you
Okay.
got any questions, Faustina?
Nope, thanks.
Are you sure? If you have
No.
any questions or anything, again, about your assignment or anything, look, the ones in red, they will tell you that it's learning outcome 1, 1.1, 1.2. The ones in red in number 2 is 2 point, sorry, number 3 is 2.1, learning outcome 2, and 2.2. So, and then learning outcome 2 is again number 4, and then learning outcome 1 and 2 is number 5. So, they do mix up, but just make sure when it says 1.1 is learning outcome 1, 1.2 is learning outcome 1, 2.1 is learning outcome 2, and 2.2 is learning outcome 2. Okay, so this is how you will remember it, and make sure that's where you will get.
Now I'm seeing something
Yeah.
where you have the comparison and
Yes.
contrast.
Yeah.
Should I give the similarities and the differences?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I wanted.
comparison and contrast, the similarities and differences of both, okay? And talk about the endocrine system first, and then the nervous system, and then maybe do a comparison like that.
Should it be in table form?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
It needs to be in a report form, so it needs to be written down, not in a table
Okay.
form.
Okay.
But you could look at looking at the endocrine system and the nervous system separately, and then do a comparison and contrast. Do you
Okay.
understand? So you don't
Yes,
really
I
have
do.
to, just do it like that, and make sure you're referencing your work when you're using your diagrams and stuff as well. And make sure
Okay.
it's all in alphabetical order. I have put the link for referencing there, Neil's toolbox, which you can link onto that, and that will help you reference everything.
Okay.
Any questions, Faustina, before we finish the session off?
No more. Thank you.
Okay, if you have any queries or any questions, email learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Submission of your assignment is to be done on learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Stick to your AI, make sure it's below the threshold. And also, if you've got 2 weeks to complete the unit after today's session, and all the learning outcome 1, 2, and today's session will be recorded on Moodle for you. If you need to, listen back to them, it will be all recorded for you. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you for attending today's session, and good luck with getting on with your assignment.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. And same,
Bye.
same.
Bye.
Bye.